Welcome back, you degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike, with the dearest of friends, Billy the Wilson, the kid, and Joe Green, the Alaskan boy himself.
I was wondering what my nickname was going to be there. The Kid Wilson and the Alaskan Boy.
The Alaskan boy.
Are you with Alaska this year?
And last year.
And you
Yeah.
look like you
And last
haven't
year.
shaven and since when's the last time you saw light?
It's also fair.
Yeah, I think that is fair. I think I need to shave after some bad luck this weekend. Need to restart the juju.
Mm-hmm.
Start the juju. Well,
What I think.
This week we're finally into week 11. We're recording a little bit late. The Thursday night games will be kicking off in about an hour. 2 hours for us. But we're still going to touch upon the topics. But first, we have the bye week. We have Jaguars, Dolphins, Seahawks, and the Bucks. A ton of playmakers definitely on the Dolphins. Seahawks have been balling. Bucks, we'll see if Fournette is going to be back after the bye. And obviously, Jaguars, lose Kirk.
And ETN.
And ETN.
And ETN.
And
Yeah.
Seahawks.
We
gonna
have
lose wide receivers out there.
how many more buys do we have left? 2. I know the Browns.
There's a week 13.
Week 13 and week
Yeah.
14.
I think that's the Colts.
Colts. Yes, I think you're right. Colts, Browns. There's a few other teams we're missing. Yeah.
Saints are on bye week 14, and there's definitely other teams that have a couple players who are going to be on bye week 14, and I don't love that. The Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're nearly through it. Yeah, Panthers, Cardinals, week 13, and week 14.
Green Bay,
Falcons, Bears,
Colts.
Packers, Colts. Yeah,
I rather the
Washington and
NFL
Saints.
this is kind of off topic. Rather just give them every team a week break.
Yeah, just have like one
Well,
week.
Yeah, it was
that
1
you're
week.
just off.
Give 2
yeah.
weeks. 2 weeks off.
Every
and
team
that's
just
it.
off.
Just off for 2 weeks and then recoup.
No,
Anyway,
then
more.
because then Joe Green would be going on vacation every other week.
He already does that anyway.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Let's touch upon the topics of the Titans versus Packers real quick. Obviously, we saw what Christian Watson did last week for the Green Bay Packers. Is it a fluke? He had 3 of his 4 receptions on 8 targets. Obviously had a ton of touchdowns, 3 of them. What do you think?
I don't think it's sustainable. Like, that was the best game of the season for Aaron Rodgers, and he only made, I think, 12. He only had 12 completions. So, like, 3 of his 12 completions were touchdowns. Like, it's just not something that's sustainable. Like, with somebody in our league gave up all his fab money out of the playoffs.
$93.
$93 in fab money for Christian Watson, and people are like, "What?"
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought like maybe $30.
I even thought that was too much.
I mean, when you're out of it, $30 to somebody that's out of it, that's like nothing. So
Yeah.
I mean, I figured.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say, I see probably like 6 to 10 targets a game for him now that Dobbs is hurt. If Dobbs wasn't there, I would say I wouldn't even consider picking him up. It's kind of like a Hardman, random 3 touchdown game. Like, it's the same mentality for me.
Yeah, I don't buy the 3 touchdowns. I really don't even buy the volume. Like, I don't trust the volume because the team only threw the ball 20 times. They ran the ball like 42 times or something like that. So, for me, it's not worth all of that. It's not worth 93 fab bucks. Tell you that. I would, like you guys. I think you both had waiver. You both had things on them, and you both were like, over $30. Man, I think that's too much for me.
I didn't put I put like $10.
Okay,
I
see,
had
that's where
30.
I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm at like $10 is fine with me, but like anything more than that, you guys can have them.
Yeah.
I think for him, I mean, he's not a possession receiver. I think it's very clear he's just athletic and he's fast and he's a deep option.
Mhm.
And they don't really have that right now. And that's where I saw like the value of he could be a boomer bust player. He could get the deep ball. Rodgers still like throwing it. And I think he's the only real option. So I think, he saw 84% of snaps, saw 8 targets. The touchdowns aren't sustainable. But if he gets you 60 yards and, 4 catches and maybe a touchdown every other week, that's a flex play. And I like that upside there. But I mean, I'm not spending $93,000 for him. I don't know that he's even Dynasty wise, I don't know that he's even a long-term value play. Like I'm not convinced he has a ton of talent. I wasn't big on him going into the year because I think he's a one-dimensional player and that's just a vertical wide receiver.
I'm not convinced Rodgers even there next year. So
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
that's a whole other thing.
yeah, that's his value goes down if he's not there. Next up, who has no value and never should have had any value is
somebody who Joe Green was high on.
yes, Treylon Burks, the
That
stinker.
was.
6 targets, 3 catches for only 24 yards. First game back, but he's missed I think 5 games.
Yeah, something like that.
He is garbage. He has asthma, so I feel for him. But I mean, when you're an NFL player, Jay Cutler had diabetes like me as well. So I mean, if we can make it out there, why can't this asthma boy do it? Because you know what, people said he didn't play in the slot, and I proved that he played in the slot, and he can't do anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't crazy high on him. I think that they don't throw the ball enough.
Absolutely.
So it's just somebody who I've never really wanted Titans wide receivers. So for me, it was never really an issue. But Mr. Joe Green over there, I'm sure he's got something to defend his guy. First game back, even though Westbrook again took every target to the house. You know, there's got to be something he's got to say.
Of course. I mean, listen, I'm going to defend my guy all season. I'm not giving up on Treylon.
You kept him on your team all season.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
I
still
still
on your
believe
team?
in him.
He's still on his team.
Yeah, of course.
God.
Still have Treylon. I'm not giving up on Treylon. Listen, he's coming back from the deadliest injury in NFL history. Turf toe. We know, it's a career ender. So really, all his stats you have to times by 4, and then you're looking at a respectable day. So you talk about 12 receptions for 80, 90 yards. That's a good fantasy day. So
that's
to me,
still only 20 points.
I will take 20 points. And I think in all seriousness, I think as he improves, his toe improves over the couple of weeks, that he'll make an impact. And it was a tough matchup, like Pat Surtain. But I mean, Pat Surtain saw a lot of Robert Woods, and that's why I think he saw Westbrook go off against the number 2 guy there. But I still had a high snap count. I'm still on him. I still saw a lot of targets, 6 targets for them. I mean, that's about half their passing attempts. So yeah, I'm still big on him, but not for this year. I'll say this: the rest of the season, probably you might get like 1 or 2 breakout games, but I don't think you're gonna get the.
You're calling a breakout game for this guy?
This guy is
he'll give you 1 breakout game.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
He'll give you 1 breakout game at least.
So he'll have at least 30 points.
The best will be I'm going to play him in the championship against Mike, and Treylon Burks is going to hold me to victory, and that's what's going to be the dagger.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You don't have balls to put him in the starting.
One of you two are going to play me. One of you two are going to play me.
You're not even going to be in the playoffs.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm most definitely in the playoffs.
I'm definitely beating you this week. Can we?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not planning. I'm planning for playoffs next year already.
Listen. I respect what you're doing. I think you had a phenomenal year. I think you should have made a move a little bit earlier.
Nobody wants to make moves anymore.
I understand that. I don't think anyone would beat me, Sean, or Paul. Unfortunately, Paul decided he wanted to buy back in when he shouldn't have, which really screwed me and Sean. But
listen, I tried. Nobody wants to give anything to anybody, and nobody's willing to give anything up except for you two. And you two aren't giving anything up because you guys are going to win. So, I'm screwed. A guy who had no first-round pick and is playoff contender, I can't make my team any better.
Between me and Joe Green and Paul, I think we have probably 30 of the top 100 players.
Yeah.
I was just saying that to Billy before we recorded. Like, we literally own so much of the entire talent pool. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, before that trade I did today, I had 3 top 12 wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
My starting 2, my 2 quarterbacks are both top 10. My 2 running backs are top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's scared of my team. You two aren't scared of my team.
I'm not scared.
You should be, but you're not. But
no.
Anyway, let's kick off the first Sunday game. We have the Browns versus the Bills.
This game was just moved.
Yes, it's moved to Detroit. Thanks to the blizzard that's coming to the north. I mean, to the east of Buffalo. Well, it is north. To the Bills. First off, let's talk about the Browns and how they decided they wanted to stop running the ball, especially when I had Chubb in. I should have dominated that game last week. Only 11 carries last week, which is just horrible. It's 3 yards and a touchdown. And People-Jones is continuing to show that he is a good flex play. And honestly, we're just counting down the games until we get to Watson.
Yeah, we're just counting down the days that you own Peoples-Jones that he scores a fucking touchdown.
Yeah.
Double-digit fantasy points in 6 out of 9 games this year. 4 straight games with at least 70 points. 70 yards, sorry. Imagine 70 points in 4 straight games. But no touchdown. Give me the touchdown, boys.
And he's tall. He's like 6'3". He should be getting some.
Yeah. I don't know if Watson's any good, man. I will say that.
Oh. Everyone wants to watch it. That's all.
I definitely want to watch, and I'm hoping because I own Donovan Peoples-Jones in Dynasty, and he's been in my lineup, my flex spot the past 3 weeks. I'm hoping because he's not coming out of my flex spot. I'll tell you that. Not coming out.
I wouldn't. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, for the Bills, Allen looked good except for the fourth quarters. He's throwing interceptions like crazy. But fantasy wise, he's still putting 20 plus points each week. Doesn't really change anything in our outcome. Hopefully, he wins a game. Because they're currently third in their division, which is not good.
It's not great.
And the Browns, I don't think going forth. This is a burner year for them. Watson comes back. We'll see how it plays out.
Yep, I am interested to see this week. This is for looking towards next week, actually, how the Bills fans travel, if they do travel, because they're playing Detroit at home, and Detroit's at home next week, so they'll be playing the stadium back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, that's why they did this, because they helped them with the travel day.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanksgiving game, is it not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, next game we have the Eagles versus the Colts. Obviously, we didn't write no notes because this is the Eagles' comeback win against Saturday and the Colts. Matt Ryan.
What?
Was that a sentence?
I thought I thought you were talking about you said the Eagles comeback win. I was like, Eagles lost.
Yeah, I'm saying it's comeback.
Well, bounce back week.
Yeah,
bounce back week.
Bounce back week. They signed Dominic Sue, obviously, to stop the run now, finally. And the Colts, Jeff Saturday finally got a win. I don't know if you guys called that. Did you guys call that?
Finally.
This is his first game.
It's his first win. So yeah, but it's finally.
Finally. I mean, to be fair to Jeff Saturday, he's never had a winning record. When he coached high school, finally. He went 3-6.
Really?
3-6.
3-6.
You couldn't pay for a win?
No, we couldn't pay for a win. I mean, I think the team just played for him last week. I heard this weird stat, like this is gambling related, but teams that are at least 6-0 going into week 6 and then and then get their first loss, the next week they don't cover like 74% of the time or something like that. So
you're saying the Eagles don't cover?
I'm not saying I have no idea. I didn't look into the game at all.
Yeah.
Like from like a gambling side, but like that's where the numbers say is that the Eagles, it's gonna be a close game. It's what the numbers say, but we'll see. I did like what I saw being a Jonathan Taylor owner last week. Him finally breaking off a run, getting into the end zone. We loved that. But as far as the Eagles go, I wish I would have known it was Devonta Smith's birthday. That would be helpful to know. I would have changed a certain lineup accordingly, and I would still have a chance to make them playoffs. But here I am.
I think.
Say what you're gonna say.
I said I on the Eagles front, just from a fantasy perspective, I think it's interesting to see without Goddard for the next 4 weeks plus. Who knows what he's going to return? Like, who's the biggest beneficiary? Is Jack Stoll gonna make any impact, or is it just more running the ball, which I don't understand why they've gotten away from so much over the last few weeks. I think that's like the biggest question mark, what they do to replace Dallas Goedert's production. Is it Quez Watkins?
It's
get your
not
boy
Quez.
out there, Mike.
He's never seeing another football again after fumbling. Never
Horrible.
again.
I traded for him, and he's gone.
You traded for Quez Watkins?
Oh.
Oh.
Goddard.
Oh. Well, you deserve that.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
I didn't trade for him early. I traded for him, played him once, and he got hurt.
Yeah, and then you picked up another tight end that got hurt.
Yes, I mean, we got to make moves, so it was cheap.
I think he'll be back by fantasy playoffs, from what my understanding was.
But do I play him? The good part is it's a shoulder injury. It's not like a running injury, so like he could still move out there. But
yeah, I would. I don't think it's that worrisome if he's playing. I think you have to play him.
One good hit on his shoulder, he's out again.
Yeah, probably. I guess we'll see, but yeah, definitely a rough blow for fantasy owners. He'd been really good. What was he, like, tight end 3?
Yeah.
I mean, he had to be up there. 4. He was consistent. On the Colts side, I don't know that there's much interesting. Like, I thought Matt Ryan starting was huge news. If you own Pittman, obviously Pittman didn't have the greatest game. Karras Campbell obviously showed out, but it also doesn't count because the Raiders give up the highest passer rating to quarterbacks in the league.
I told everybody to pick up Campbell again because with Matt Ryan out there, he's seeing targets. He's obviously the only deep threat on his team.
Yeah, they might just be better with Matt Ryan. Like, Matt Ryan wasn't good, but like it just might be better with Matt Ryan.
At least he could throw the ball,
right,
decent.
If you're a Pittman owner, you're praying that they just continue to start Matt Ryan, because if Sam Ellinger's out there, Sam Ellinger cannot throw football.
He doesn't have an arm.
There's no way. Yeah, he's no way they could keep throwing Sam Ellinger out there. So I'm assuming we'll see Matt Ryan till
that's crazy.
Further notice.
That's crazy. I hope Matt Ryan still stays quarterback.
It's the only way they could throw the football. Like, they're not doing it with Sam Ellinger.
Mm-mm. But you know who's not throwing the ball? The Nets game, Bears vs. Falcons. Justin Fields, strictly the Nets Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Daniel Jones is a better running back.
He's not.
QB.
He's clearly not.
No.
I like how Saquon called him Vanilla Vic.
Vanilla Vic.
I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Vanilla Vic.
That's why I said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Justin Fields obviously on the biggest trend. Like, he's obviously what is he currently ranked right now at QB?
I think 7.
Yeah,
I think he's QB 7. But since
check right now,
while Mike was telling everybody to pick up Vanilla Vic, I was telling you to pick up Michael Vick Jr. He's been the number 1 player in fantasy football. It hasn't been close. Back-to-back games, at least 140 rushing yards. 5 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 weeks, 8 passing touchdowns the last 4 weeks. Justin Fields is also 6th overall in rushing yards in the NFL. Better than your RB1 that's on your team. 749 yards.
If you have Fields in the championship, he's going against Detroit, who is giving up the most rushing yards, I believe, in the league. Or maybe that's Texans. It's either 1 or 2.
I'll have him in the championship game,
which is not something you want to go against.
Yeah,
but in the playoffs,
Fields is currently QB4. QB4, by the way.
QB4.
Yep.
He's gonna hurt my Hurts as my number 1 QB. He might finish if Fields ends up being a QB1.
That's crazy.
It's it, because he wasn't even a top 30 QB for the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out how to use them, and now they're using them. But this is another great matchup. Falcons aren't good against a run, but the Bears just lost Herbert. I think to IR, definitely to IR. I don't know if it's for the whole season or not. If you're a David Montgomery owner, I'm trading him away as fast as you can. Just because, like, his stock isn't going to be higher. Like, people are going to be like, oh, well, he's the only guy there now. Like, well, Justin Fields still taking more carries than he is. But anyway, Falcons haven't had to face a rushing quarterback. They face Jameis, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, people like that. Like they're not going to know what to do with him. You know, the most athletic QB they faced was PJ Walker.
Yeah, not saying much.
It's not saying a damn thing. Could be another massive day if you're a Justin Fields owner.
Those who have picked up Komet, which was on my waiver wire video, he had his practice today, which is good news because I traded for him, not knowing he was a little banged up.
I was just right before the show in the Twitter league that we're in. I was offered Cole Kmet for Cortland Sutton, and I've thought about it.
I would, if you need a tight end. I mean,
I don't really need one that bad, but like, you know, it's better than Cortland Sutton. I'm thinking.
I wanted to say on the Dave Montgomery front, I'm not positive I would trade him yet because he has this weird obsession, or not weird obsession, weird coincidence of going off in the fantasy football championship. Last year, he had 2 touchdowns, only for 60 yards in the championship. The year before that, he had 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then his rookie season, he had 113 and a touchdown. Like, I don't know. Like,
listen,
when he's the guy,
he's
it just
not
seems
good.
he does something.
You know, like to me, he's
I
not
don't
very good. He was losing his job.
I never liked him.
Yeah,
Can't be a running back. Can't be a running back that runs a 4, 6, 8, or whatever he ran at a 40.
Yeah.
Can't.
He says
Not fast enough.
I think one maybe 2 games over 60 yards this year. Like he's not very good.
3, but
I'm
3.
saying that like you're gonna get more value from him because it's trade deadline. Like this is the last week, so like you're not gonna get better value from him all year, previous until now. Like he's now the unquestioned starter. Give him to somebody who believes in him. Get something in return.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Commanders versus Texans. Commanders obviously had a huge win against the Eagles last week. Texans, they're pretty trash besides Pierce out there.
Fucking Damian Pierce.
Pierce will finish as a top 15 running back, like I said he would, unless he gets hurt. What do you have to say about that?
I have to say that he cost me a bunch of money this weekend by not getting 6 more rushing yards.
Karma for not believing him in the beginning of the year.
That's fair. I guess.
I will say that take has aged very well. I mean, we'll see. There's still, a
lot of time
left.
left.
7 weeks
all of
left.
my takes
like,
have aged like a fine wine.
That's not true.
Well,
how's Dak
not
Prescott doing?
Hurts sucks. Dak has played nobody. Let's face it.
He's already in the top 30, right?
Pierce,
Probably.
obviously a god. I don't know.
He's on that fine line, man. He's RB 14.
Yeah, but there's nobody.
He's on that fine line. On that fine line.
It's gonna be a tight finish.
Yeah,
but it was a good take. I'll give you that. It's worked in your favor. He's been better than I expected, and I thought very highly of him. Clearly, I drafted him in multiple leagues.
You traded him.
Yeah, you did.
I traded him in multiple leagues.
You couldn't have thought that much of him.
I mean, he got Derrick
Henry
liked him,
back, but
so
yeah,
if you would just hand this guy
playoff
the league,
playoff Henry over there,
handing people the league.
Mm-hmm. There's not much to say about this game, but Robinson obviously finally playing decently. So did Gibson. I mean, they both did. They were running the ball like crazy all over the Eagles. So
yeah, which is surprising.
I said this last week. I said when the Eagles lost Jordan Davis that they all of a sudden became an appealing team to run the ball against. And I said I thought this was a good stretch for the Washington running backs. I didn't know which one to trust. Like Brian Robinson's just he has to get a touchdown or he's not worth anything. Same with Gibson. Gibson's going to get some receiving work. But this is a good stretch if you own either one to play them as flex starts.
Either one, you're going against Texans. I think they're top 2 or 3 in total rush defense against.
They're dead last, probably still, unless something changed. They
were
ahead by 50 to anybody. But listen, if Brian Robinson gets 26 attempts, like he did last week, he's gonna have 200 yards.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous.
He even admitted on the in the interview that they did with him like prior to Monday Night Football that he won't be the same this year because he got shot in the leg. I've been saying this for so long, but the leg, it's gonna take like a year for that thing to heal. So like next year, I really like Brian Robinson, but the rest of this year, you're kind of just praying on that damn touchdown every week because it's just not gonna.
I just hope that they keep Antonio Gibson away from him in the offseason. That's all.
The problem is next year we're talking way too far ahead, but next year you're gonna have the same reason with like the Green Bay Packers, Jones and Dylan. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you got.
I'm not convinced Gibson's back. I'm not convinced Gibson comes back next year.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And with that other take that you just said, Mike, like that's a Packers take. A.J. Dillon is not nearly as good as Aaron Jones.
I agree. 100%.
You said it all year.
He's just too fat.
He's mediocre. He's a mediocre running back.
He's Eddie Lacy before the McDonald's kicked in. Like,
yes.
While he's
after
eating
McDonald's kicked in. Yeah. That's what I meant. After the McDonald's kicked in.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have the division rivals, the Jets versus the Patriots. They were both on bye last week. Jets came off of a huge win before the bye against the Bills. Patriots, I forgot who they played. It doesn't really matter. But this is going to obviously be a rushing attack by both teams. We have Stevenson, who is arguably not a shock to me and Billy, but he's top 10 running back right now. He might have fell a little bit.
He's still 10.
He's still 10. That's only because of the bye. He should do. I mean, Jets have been really good on defense. I'm not saying he's going to go off this week, but if you know anything about the Patriots, their only goal is to play defense and run the ball. So
and beat the Jets.
They always beat the Jets. And the Jets' game plan is obviously going to be run the ball. This is going to be right after the bye, so we'll see what his name James will do finally. James Robinson. We'll see how that is with Carter. I just recently traded for Carter, so I think Carter is going to continue seeing at least 15 carries a game, hopefully.
That's only because you traded for him, though.
That's only because
if you traded for James Robinson, you say, I'm hoping he gets 15 carries a game.
Yeah, the value wasn't there for the value. See, this is what I was thinking. The value to trade for Robinson was too high because like you traded for the Jets. He's replacing Tall workload. But then Michael Carter started seeing majority of the carries, and he still sees the passing downs. So I'd rather have the passing downs.
No, like I agree. I think you have the right guy.
Crazy.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think that.
Yeah, you just think I'm biased.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. Like I don't disagree with your take. I'm just kind of being devil's advocate, saying that if you had the other guy, you'd be saying the same thing.
I also don't think 15 carries is even. I don't think Michael Carter's had 15 carries in a game in his entire career in the NFL.
If he gets 15 carries,
feel confident. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
He had 12 last week.
That's not 15.
I don't think you'll ever see Michael Carter get 15 carries in a game. But yeah, I guess if he gets 12 and some receptions, you'll live with it.
Yeah.
You guys have anything to say about the wonderful Jets-Patriots game?
Not much besides, like, I think that we live in New York and, you listen to ESPN radio and all they were talking about the first time these teams went up was like, this is the biggest Jets game in 15 years. And then it lost.
15 years?
That's like something like 10, 15 years. Like, they're just rounding it about. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Because the Jets haven't been good. The Jets have just been dog shit. So I think that the Jets might want to try to get some payback from, them spoiling the parade. Yeah. They didn't get it the first time. No. But, Patriots haven't lost to the Jets in 7 years. So you never know.
Next up, we're going to talk about my team, the Lions. Well, that's not my team.
That's your team.
Oh.
Big Lions fan.
Lions versus the Giants. G-Men, baby. Question is, can the Lions stop Saquon? No, they can't.
No.
We have the best left tackle in the game, which a lot of people talk shit about us drafting him. I got to throw that in there. We have the best number 1 left tackle in the game right now.
According to what? PFF?
According to everybody.
According to Mike.
According to me, PFF,
okay.
ESPN, Yahoo, CBS, ESPN.
TNT.
Named ESPN twice.
And Athletic.
According to Jeremy Fowler.
And
Jeremy
Athletic.
Fowler.
Don't worry, we'll get to Jeremy Fowler's bitch ass. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Their lines are obviously horrible against the run. Hopefully, Jones gets a good amount of rushings in there. But our next topic would be, Swift. Did he lose the starting job? I'm not sure because William is banged up this week. So I think that Swift is going to have more of a workload this week. They're definitely going against the Giants.
Well, it just doesn't make sense. I just feel like it didn't make any sense, last week.
What part?
But the part that DeAndre Swift had 6 carries and Jamal Williams had 16. Like that makes sense to you?
I think he's still coming back from the injury he suffered earlier in the year, the ankle injury, and I think they're slowly working him back. I mean, I know he's definitely not 100% based on the coaching staff.
Just keep him out.
What they've said.
We're talking fantasy football here, fellas. If you're gonna give a guy 6 carries, do it in practice. Don't do it in a live game.
Giants are worse against speedier backs. It's a known fact.
Yeah. No, I like DeAndre Swift this week. I liked him last week, but they didn't even play him last week. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see what happens with him the rest of the year. Like, you got to also remember with DeAndre Swift, this is his 3rd year in the NFL. He's never stayed healthy in any of his seasons. Lions are tanking. Let's be honest; they're not playing for anything. Like, what do the Lions do here? Do they want to see if he can stay healthy, or are they just saving him for next year so he can get hurt next year again? Like, I'm very curious to see what happens. Plus, he's playing for a contract too. Like, going into his 4th year and you've never been healthy.
No contract.
It's not good.
Some team will give him a contract. It won't be the Lions.
It'll probably be the Giants.
I wouldn't doubt it.
The talent's there, but
yeah, this Lions team outside of Mon-Ra, it's like I don't really trust anything at the moment.
Any update on Williams?
Jameson Williams isn't coming back till. So he'll be activated off IR, it sounds, on Thanksgiving, but they don't expect him to play till mid to late December. And then again, you're not going to rush him back to play. You're playing for nothing. So what is he going to see? Like 30%
They should have had him play
snaps?
for Thanksgiving.
They should have.
Yep.
They should have.
Doesn't sound like he'll be activated.
Anyway, another shit game. Panthers versus the Ravens. Mark Andrews finally comes back. Puts Likely on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I mean, me being the biggest Isaiah Likely supporter here, I love his talent, but that's Lamar's guy. Mark Andrews is Lamar's guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they are in desperate need of a wide receiver, and he should be playing out wide. But when Mark Andrews has been on the field, they haven't used him like that. So I don't really know. So if I wouldn't drop him yet.
No,
wouldn't drop him yet.
Hopefully,
unless you're Joe Green, then you can totally drop him. You can totally drop him, Joe. Most definitely.
I offered you a trade. You didn't want him.
I'm not giving away something I can pick up on the waiver wire next week. Come on.
You probably will drop
him. Come on. Who do you think I am? Jesse, get out of here. Get out of here.
No, I mean, I think, Mark Andrews has been limited in practice all week. We'll see if he plays. The other thing is, though, they just lost Bateman for the year.
Yep.
Isaiah Likely is probably their 2nd best receiver now. And I know he had a really bad game against the Saints. He had the touchdown, but honestly, it was a terrible game. He dropped 4 passes. He just did not look good. But I can't imagine the rest of the year they don't use their 2nd best receiving option. I just find that hard to believe. I think there will be some incorporation of him in the offense more.
I will say they didn't really use Bateman all that much, and he was their 2nd best receiving option.
Yeah.
They chose to go with Devin Duvernay instead.
Well, we could have just been wrong about Bateman. Maybe Bateman isn't as good as we thought. He just
the tape proves it. The tape proves that he's good. It's just they just don't use him.
Nah, you should have known something was wrong when he said he was 6'4" and came out 5'10".
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I just don't see how they don't use Likely the rest of the year. I think he's proven enough.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything really much from this game. Is going against the Panthers. I mean, they should easily be able to win this game. Play defense, run the ball, throw Mark Andrews 10 catches, and then win the
just
game.
cruise.
About maybe 10 kicks from Tucker. You know how it is.
10 kicks.
I mean, the Ravens are going to go up big in the first half and probably wind up losing to the Panthers.
That's usually how.
time, like they always do.
They always lose it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You see Panthers locker room fighting for Sam Darnold to get a shot. Pretty funny.
I mean, they should. They might as well.
Like, if you're them, like, why are you still like on that team? Like, what are you doing?
He's getting paid. He's getting paid like $24 million. Making that.
No, not Sam Darnold. Like, good for Sam Darnold. It's like good for all three quarterbacks trying to get a job, but like every receiver, what are you still doing there?
Yeah.
Hold out. Like, sit out, man.
They were so close to get like that team to be good. Like, they're only missing a QB
and a running back now.
Yeah. No, like their defense is legit. Their defense is legit.
Yeah.
Like they have
legit what?
No, they have solid pieces on defense, just that they're always on defense this year because the offense can't stay on the field.
But now, see, like you're stuck with Burns, and you're gonna have to pay this man. And they're like their reset is taking too long because now they don't have a QB.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we got the Rams versus the Saints. Both teams desperate for a win. Rams obviously lose Cooper Kupp for at least 4 games. He's on IR.
Probably the season.
I think he's done for the year.
Yeah, I think he's done for the year because I don't think the Rams are going anywhere this year. And
I just have to say the Rams 4 weeks. I mean, just because it's IR.
Yeah, I know that they threw him on IR, but like, let's be realistic. Their season's over. There's no reason. This injury that Cooper Kupp had is the same one that Kyron Williams had that took 10 weeks to return from. Like, they're not going to rush Cooper Kupp back to play for what? Third, fighting for 4th in the division. Like, that sounds absurd. So, yeah, I would expect Kupp to be out.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Me too. I love it too. I think it's great.
You saw I traded him, right, Mike?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, who cares?
Okay.
So
it doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just saying. I didn't know if you had seen that.
Oh yeah, because Mike hasn't looked at his phone in 6 weeks. So
you traded for a more injury-prone wide receiver that's not playing for the rest of the year. Once the Chargers lose this week, they're gonna shut him down too.
I think so too.
But I did you a favor. I dropped Palmer, so you'll have a backup.
I almost picked up Palmer today, actually, but it chose not to.
Anyway,
I don't need him.
How many targets? Where are we going with the targets?
We know where they're going.
I can't say the other name, the white boy. The other.
Skowronek.
Listen.
Ben Skowronek.
Cooper Kupp gets hurt. They just continue to still throw it to white people. I don't understand.
It's Higbee.
It's Higbee. It's Ben Skowronek saw 7 targets. Higbee saw 8.
I did watch a little bit of this game, and for the first time ever, I see Higbee with a screen pass.
Yeah, in like 2 years. 2 years, because
he has a screen pass play for him, and going into next week, he's gonna have 3 or 4 of those at least.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Higbee's great. Higbee's a good tight end. It's just like we knew like his ceiling will always be capped because Cooper Kupp's there. Like, he's a solid tight end. You know, he's a big body, breaks tackles, gets open, good hands. But, you know, now I have a serious question to ask.
Yeah.
Is it Matthew Stafford or is it Sean McVay?
What? Why the team's struggling?
No. Why only white people get receptions?
Well,
I think it's a combination.
I mean, Stafford, he's always thrown to the slot a lot. Like if it wasn't Calvin Johnson, obviously, I think Calvin Johnson would be number 2 wide receiver of all time if he stayed in the league.
I think he is, regardless.
No, you could say Randy Moss, and you could say a bunch of names.
I guess, but
but if it wasn't for the fact that they have one of the best wide receivers of all time, he's always was thrown to the slot. They had Amendola. They had always in the slot.
Golden Tate.
Yeah, Golden Tate's a better option than Danny Amendola.
Golden Tate was half white anyway, so I mean,
no, it's fair. Just thought I'd bring it up. That's all.
really think that people should be picking up Justin, not Justin Jefferson, whatever it is, Jefferson.
Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson. I
don't think this entire offense has value the rest of the year. Like straight up, they just put 2 offensive linemen on IR. They're decimated at every position on offense other than tight end. They have no running back. Like their whole team is just valueless to me. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe Ben Skoranek gets 12 points one week. Maybe Van Jefferson gets a 60-yard touchdown a game. But like, I'm not sitting here like I like even Allen Robinson. I see people who are like hyped for Allen Robinson. Well, Allen Robinson's done nothing. What that's going to change all of a sudden now that he's going to be the only guy? No.
Like, if I still had him on my roster, I'd be happy. Like, come on.
I wouldn't be. I was trade deadline today, and I'm looking at every team, and I see somebody have Allen Robinson. I'm like, nah.
It's worth. I mean, if you held on to him this long, you might as well see it go through.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're,
that's fair.
That's 2 and 8, like I guess.
Yeah, you probably are.
You might as well.
A 3rd or 4th round pick on him, so.
Yeah, you spent a 4th round pick on him or 5th. So yeah, you might as well see it through at this point. If you believe in them then, there's no reason to stop now.
I mean, you probably rolled him out in your lineup every week, so
probably.
I'm not gonna say his next name, so one of you guys ask the question.
What? It's 5 letters. Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. Do I think he's gonna be the guy? I don't think so. I mean,
you don't think you can rely on the man?
No, I would have picked him up.
You should have picked him up.
I'm a desperate for tight end.
Picked him up.
There's just so many players on that team. Like, it's hit or miss. I
mean, back-to-back weeks, he's produced.
Mike Thomas is gone.
Michael Thomas is gone. Landry's still banged up. They don't want to throw the ball to Alvin Kamara. You know, once they get in the red zone, Juwan Johnson's the guy.
Yeah, I'll live with
4
it.
touchdowns in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am kind of not really buying it, but I guess if you're desperate, there's a flex, of stream play.
Let me get a hypothetical question here for you, Joe Green. Say you trade a 3rd round pick for a tight end, and then that next game he gets hurt. So then you go ahead and pick up a tight end who's already hurt. Would you think about picking him up?
I mean, if you're strapped to tight end, like sure, like you could stream them and hope for the best, but like we've said, there's very limited tight ends you can count on. It's Kelsey, Mark Andrews when he's healthy, and
Ertz and Goddard. Ertz and Goddard, but then Ertz got hurt.
Ertz got Ertz out. Yeah, both were out for a long period of time now. Like Ertz for the season, Goddard for at least 4 weeks. So, yeah, there's no one left. There's 2 people.
Can I tell you guys the reason why I traded for another tight end? So I knew he was going to go on. I knew he was going to go on IR, but they didn't confirm it yet. So I was stuck with him being just questionable. And my roster, I can't drop nobody in my roster. You guys know how loaded my roster is. It's true. Like, I'm not dropping anybody.
No, it's fair, Mike. You're right.
On my IR spot, I already have Njoku.
David Njoku. Yeah,
I'm very high on Njoku, and I
think he's your best tight end.
He's
your best. Tight end.
He was a top 7 tight end, but he's been hurt, and maybe he plays this week, but I don't know. But every week so far, he changes from questionable. He's changes from not IR, but out to questionable. And then I'm stuck there, and I don't know who I have to drop. So instead of dropping him, I made a trade, right? So I could keep everybody and still pick up the players I had to from the waiver wire. So I would have abundance of people and not have to drop anybody.
So now Mike currently has.
So you traded them instead.
Mike currently has 3 tight ends, 2 kickers, and 2 defenses.
4.
No, I have 1 kicker.
Oh, you dropped one.
You dropped one.
But I have 2 defenses.
Yeah.
That's not a championship winning bench. I'll tell you that. 4 tight ends is not a championship winning bench.
Listen. If you get 10 points from your tight end, I'm happy. So
that's fair.
The rest of it will work.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, we're talking too much about my Hall of Fame team. Let's talk about the shitty Raiders against the Broncos. Are the Raiders the worst team in the NFL? Yes.
Fair.
Are the Raiders?
If the Texans didn't exist, yes.
No, I think the Texans would beat the Broncos. Beat the Raiders by 10 points.
Are the
Raiders beat the Texans by 20 points 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, that was 3 weeks ago. This is now. This is now.
I think the
No.
Broncos are gonna dominate this game, and that they might have their first game over 18 points.
Yeah. Who leads the league
I don't know.
in
Fair.
30-plus yard receptions?
I don't know.
Adams?
Who did
The
those?
Broncos. The Broncos have thrown more 30-yard-plus completions than any team in the NFL.
Is that
Yeah.
like their only positive yards?
Yes.
It's 30.
It also
plus
happens to be their
receiving.
only positive yards.
I was gonna say, like, they don't exactly move the football.
19 times.
You gotta wonder, like, I don't know if you guys have been following them, but now KJ Hamler's out for an extended period of time. Obviously,
rest
we
in
don't know
peace.
what's going on with Judy, the ankle injury. We'll see. I don't think he plays personally, but we'll see. I mean, Cortland Sutton's the only guy left. Greg Dolch, I don't know.
Dolch.
He didn't do anything last week. But I just, this team, I can't believe how much of a fantasy nightmare this team has ended up being. This was a team everyone wanted to own fantasy players on before the season, and now
me.
there's almost no one.
That's another thing.
Yeah,
I said
you're
I don't want
right.
Anybody?
Yeah, Mike said no one on this team. Remember this?
Jerry
No
Judy.
one
He
would
wanted to
finish
own
top
Jerry
10.
Judy in
Yeah,
every league.
only Jerry Judy.
And Jerry Judy's hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Son looks like Galladay Jr. out there.
No, at least Sutton can catch a ball.
That's true.
He just doesn't get the chance. Bad quarterback play. Whole thing is just bad.
Yeah, everything's just bad. I'm really hoping that Cortland Sutton will finally have a big game, but if he's going to, it's going to be this week.
It's not because he's going against Sutton. Sertain.
What? He's going against
What
Sertain.
are
No.
you talking about?
Sertain's on the Broncos. Why
What
would
a-
Sutton
Sorry.
fucking
struggle?
moron.
I'm losing it.
What
Talking
an
about
idiot.
Yeah, no.
reading it wrong. Sorry. Yeah, it definitely against the
No.
Raiders. They just
Yeah.
they trade their corner.
Yeah.
They trade their corners because they had too many.
Trade there. Oh, you're talking about Nick Mullins, or not Nick Mullins, Trayvon Mullen, who can't even see the field in Arizona. Yeah,
I
sure.
forgot you guys cut Douglas and now he's a top 10 corner out there.
Yeah, I don't really blame them for cutting Douglas, and they did though. He was horrible for them.
This is just,
I don't know. Fantasy wise, this game's gross. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I want to say this. It's going to be interesting because obviously the Raiders are just tanking now. Like, I'm wondering if anyone gets shut down at some point on this team. Like, does Adams just call it quits at one point? Does Josh Jacobs just say, "I'm just want to get my money"? Like, I don't know. At some
I'm
point, you
scared
gotta.
for that because guess what? Adams has an injury. Yes.
Right. Like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, no one wants to play for this guy either. So I'm like, at what point do guys just start saying, "Yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm not playing anymore this season." And that's what I'm like concerned about if I own anyone on this team. I mean, obviously, if I own Waller, you're fucked anyway.
Yeah.
That dude's never playing football again. And then Hunter Renfro, he's been irrelevant.
Done.
So then you're just
He's done
Adams
for the
and
year.
Jacobs. Yeah, like what? And like again, when are those guys going to be like, "I'm good"? And I don't know. That's
always
my
the
only
worry.
concern.
We talk about it towards the end of the year, every year. Like the worst teams who have good players and the best teams to have good players. Like you're worried that they might not be playing in your championship game.
Especially now that we have 17 weeks in the season.
Yeah, it's a real concern. You know, there's teams that are going to have a bye. You know, Justin Jefferson could sit like the last 2-3 weeks. That's like a real, like going into the next game we're going to talk about. It's a real thing. If they win this week, they're 4 games up.
If Green Bay loses tonight,
They will.
you saying they will lose or win?
Yeah, they're going to lose this tonight.
But I'm just saying, if they lose, they're basically done too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they'd be 4-7, right? Yeah, they'd be.
They'll be
Right.
done, and then Vikings
but
just sit around and do nothing.
This is always my biggest gripe with fantasy football. And like Mike, you know, we're waiting for the playoffs. That's all we're doing. Like our teams are set, we're loaded. Like we literally just have to pray no one gets hurt for the next 4 weeks. And this is what drives me crazy about fantasy, because we got to wait for injuries and then wait for players that might just sit it out.
This is why I used to
make
make the playoffs 1 week early. But then you don't have time. You don't have time to make trades and evaluate. But honestly, that's what I used to do.
Yeah, when Mike was commissioner, we used to have playoffs week 4.
So
No, it's just frustrating because you'll have the best team. I've said this I think 3 times on this podcast. Mike and I have the best teams in our league by a landslide, and neither of us will win the championship somehow because some dog shit will happen, and that's just how this ends up working. Yeah, right. Like Billy's
I'm gonna win.
Like
if me and
Yeah.
we'll actually post me and Joe Green's teams on Instagram. Like, go see how stacked our teams. Like, there's not really a trade.
You guys
that
just
either,
love sucking each other's
there's
dicks,
not-
but like
yeah, but-
I'm right
like,
there. Like
there's-
I'm right there.
There's not like a
Straight disrespect.
like how like I can't go for a trade because guess what? I have to obviously trade with Joe Green to get a player because that's how good our teams are. Like,
That's crazy.
there's
Travis
not.
Etienne has been on the market for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know, but you're asking for like
I didn't ask for anything. Nobody's even sent me anything.
no one even texts him, Mike. No one even
Nope,
texts
not
him.
one person asked me for a damn thing for Travis Etienne.
if you would have drafted him in the 3rd round, I would have went right to you.
Listen, you don't need a keeper. You need a guy who's going to be just as good as Derrick Henry week 17. And right now, you don't have that. I'm
I have
just
the
saying.
Giants.
I hate
The
this.
Giants don't give up.
Oh,
Let's move on.
oh God. Let's talk about the Vikings and the Cowboys. Let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. Top 7 wide receiver when Dak's on the field, huh? We have
I
a
think
stat
so.
for that?
No, I just that's just my opinion. It's not an actual stat, but like if you
Yeah,
look at it,
I mean, but in the beginning of the year he sucked, and previously last year he wasn't that great.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb was hurt most of last year, and he had
Dak didn't
one
play most of
half with Dak Prescott beginning of the year.
Oh, he had almost to the
Almost a whole game, right? Almost one whole game against a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Mike, wake up. I know you were trying to defend this. Dak Prescott's bad.
Dak, he is bad.
He's not.
He hasn't played nobody. Can we see? All right, let's see him play against the Vikings.
Okay.
All right, and
They
Vikings
will.
don't even have
Vikings off of the biggest
of a high
win
win,
in
yeah.
a long. Yeah, come on, man. Wake
Right.
up. Wake up and smell the roses. Wake up
I
and smell the
saw-
roses. Come on. What are we doing here?
I don't mind. I hope Mike dies on this hill though, like because it's not he got hurt, he missed half the season, so
Yeah, and like I
technically
really
he's
hope
done
that
on
like
it, but-
he's
there-
still
I
a top
think-
15 guy, and then like
I
it's just
think
like
there's no
wow, you're
way
so
he can
wrong.
move up the boards. There's no way he can move up the boards.
He moved up 9 spots last week.
Yeah, because
He had an
you know
average
how-
week. He had an
he's
average week,
going
moved up
against-
9 spots.
he's going
Move-
against
move
QBs that
past
haven't
2 guys.
done anything.
He moved past 2 guys who played. What are we doing?
There's players like Justin Fields that are helping me out right now, so I don't care.
Justin Fields is way ahead.
I know, but it moves everyone back. It adds another one. He wasn't a top 10 fucking.
He was 5 weeks ago.
Everybody keep
Come
moving
on.
up. Come
Listen,
on.
It's CeeDee Lamb.
don't
I
talk
want on
highly
my team
about the
going into
Cowboys.
playoffs because this division is going to come down to the wire. Like
Absolutely.
if you own people who are on the Giants, you own people who are on the Cowboys, you love it. You love how close the division is going to be because they're going to have to play all year long. CeeDee Lamb, I love. Dalton Schultz, I love.
Schultz, I wish I never traded him
Dalton
away, but
Schultz.
I couldn't keep him on my bench.
He said Dalton Schultz 3 games, double-digit fantasy points. All
I
3
said
of them,
this.
Dak Prescott.
I said that with Schultz was going to be a huge tight end this year if but he got hurt.
I mean, you
Yeah.
thought Schultz would be a top guy. You thought all their guys would be top guys, but
Oh,
Dak would not be a
Schultz.
top guy.
You're hating on me.
To be fair, it has somewhat worked out. I mean, obviously Schultz hasn't
Yeah,
been
I
great,
mean-
but like Pollard's end up being a top 20 running back right
But
now.
that wasn't Mike's
Yeah,
thinking
somehow.
was that he was going to get hurt. His thinking was just he's not good.
Yeah,
He's not good.
yeah, I know.
Well, I can say this.
Like-
You want wait? I want to say I have evidence that why he's not good. Because guess what? Cooper Rush dominated the 5 games he played. Except for one game.
Dominated.
I don't-
Mike,
for
wasn't
Dak
it just
passed
the
them
defense?
already.
Yeah, Dak passed
Cooper
him.
Rush in fantasy points
Yeah,
already.
but Cooper Rush was an undrafted QB, I think. Come on.
What does that have to do with this, though? You said he
Let's see.
dominated.
This week, he's going to pass Mac Jones,
They're past Baker Mayfield.
Stafford if he
Mayfield
doesn't
missed
play.
4 games.
And then he's boom.
No, he
then
won't.
he's
I don't
in
think
top
he'll pass
25.
Stafford.
Huh?
He could be in top 25 this week, and then you're in real trouble.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I
No, I'm
guarantee
not.
it.
No,
See.
no,
See.
Bill,
We'll
I'm
see.
not. It's not me. I'm not in trouble.
No. I'm done talking about the Cowboys. I don't even want to hear it no more.
Yeah.
Bengals versus Steelers. You just talked because this is your boy,
Yeah.
Jeremy Fowler.
Hey, Jeremy Fowler, you bitch ass motherfucker. Where you at? You said Najee can be splitting work. Najee, season high 20 carries, 99 yards. Stopped a quarter inch short. If you look at some replays, depending on which one you look, he's in the end zone. It's neither here nor there. He wasn't using the passing game a lot, but we kind of already have been going through that all year, so it's nothing different. But to say, they're going to come out of the bye week with Jalen Warren going to be the lead back, suck my ass.
I think that
you
was
couldn't know any less.
Joe Green trying to feed your ego right there.
Yeah,
Your
I was
ego.
trying not feed. No.
I wrote it. This
start
is
the
me.
fire.
No, but Joe Green brought this up. Some random Jeremy Fowler quote from last week that Warren was going to be the starter running back.
I mean,
I
I
wanted to
went
start
back
the
and I
fire.
looked at the tweet, and it was true. It was a true tweet, and it really bothered me. That Saturday, some other guy from ESPN reported
Yeah,
the same thing,
I
Yeah.
saw that.
and I said, "What kind of? Where are you guys getting this information from?"
Not the beat writers.
Just doesn't make any sense. Najee could have still had a touchdown, but they just chose to run that end around that the Steelers love to do with Pickens, and he got in the end zone. So that was good.
Pickens got that instead of Claypool.
Yeah, I mean, as suspected.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's the more athletic
Pickens
guy.
matched Najee with touchdowns on the season with that, rushing touchdowns on the season. It was big.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, he
If
did.
I don't doubt it. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's one.
Yeah, it's one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kenny Pickett had more rushing touchdowns in his first quarter than Najee had all year. So, I don't have no lie.
9 fantasy points. 9.9 fantasy points. Big week for Najee.
Listen, he would have had a good week if he scored the touchdown, but he didn't. You wouldn't be saying nothing if he had 15 fantasy points.
I would. He tanked 2 of my leagues.
I mean, you traded one of them the second week to me.
Yeah, that's true.
And you traded it for DeAndre Swift, who's been even worse. So, what are we talking about?
Shout out Jordan. Shout out Jordan for telling me I won the league after
Hashtag fuck him. Hashtag fuck him.
Fuck him.
I'm coming back in the Twitter league.
No, you're
I'm in
not.
The playoffs. I'm in the playoffs now.
No,
Yeah.
your team
Yeah, I
stinks.
am. Yeah. My team is not bad.
90% of the league is 4 and 6.
Yeah,
but
literally
I score the most points. I just don't win.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about the Sunday night game. Let's keep moving.
All right, Sunday night game. We have a good game against the Chiefs versus Chargers. I want to say this. Kadarius Toney. He's the right receiver for this team. Juju's out.
Whoa.
Juju is he's injury.
Juju's drinking out of a straw right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? He's definitely wide receiver 1 right now. Tony's definitely wide receiver 1 right now.
But Mecole Hardman just got sent to IR an hour ago.
Yeah, it's Tony is gonna. I've got, like I said, my team keeps getting better. I might have 5 top 20 wide receivers by the end of the year.
You can't play 5 wide receivers, Mike.
I know. It's sad. I should trade away Tony right now. You want him?
Yeah, for like a 9th round pick.
I want to point out how great our friend Garrett's take on Mecole Hardman has aged since he said that. He's now been out. He's going to miss 5 games. Fantastic. Yeah,
he's going
anyway, continue on.
Garrett stinks.
Yeah.
We go over this every week. Garrett has become like a segment on the show. It's just how bad his takes of sports in general are. Like I can't even open our group chat anymore. I don't even want to hear it. He's out there giving bad fantasy advice to people. What are we doing? Sit down, stay in your lane.
Talking about the Chiefs again, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It was a horrible game for him last week.
Whoa.
He lost
4
his job.
snaps, zero touches. Barely saw anything. What is his name? Pacheco?
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Are you think it's gonna be Pacheco, or you think it's gonna be I can't.
McKinnon.
McKinnon. Who do you
McKinnon?
think's-
No, it's Pacheco. It's he's
Pacheco,
the starter. It just he
but
doesn't
catch passes.
receive. He doesn't play the third downs. That's McKinnon, and yeah, and then you got
Because
Pacheco who gets the first and second down
McKinnon
work.
last year towards the playoffs, he started really popping off. So I don't know if they're just saving him for the playoffs towards the end of the season, because that's what they did last year, and he was balling last year.
Yeah, I scooped him up
No.
in our league this
Smart
year,
move.
just this week, just because I was a big Khalil Herbert guy. He went down. I needed another running back. So I picked up McKinnon. I have faith that McKinnon will get you 8 to 10 points a game. Pacheco did fumble close to the goal line last week. That might cause something, but this week I think Pacheco's the play. Chargers one of the worst against the running backs, and third worst actually, to be exact. No. Rest in peace to any Allaire owners that you drafted in the second round.
Jesse.
He's having a bad week, that kid.
Joe Green, since you just traded for Allen, what are the news from him playing this week?
There is none.
Well, there is none because he's practicing, but that means next to nothing considering he's been practicing for about a month and a half now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, from everything I've read, a 30-year-old returning from a hamstring injury takes about 8 weeks. Well, he's been out for 10 weeks. So I would
But he
assume
played
at some
a
point
half.
he returns.
He played a half.
I mean, he
so
played.
He re-injured.
He played a half,
half,
re-aggravated it, got halfway back, and then on the bye week was sitting on his couch and stretched too hard and re-aggravated it again. And then he was probably playing Madden last night and probably just bounced his knee up and down and then probably tweaked his hammy again. I have no faith. I own Keenan Allen in a league. I have zero faith.
I mean, it's hard to when
Look
he's
at Joe's green
missed this
face.
long.
It's frozen right now, and it's like that's
It's
the face
good.
That's the face I would think that he's making. Like when
Yeah.
when he realizes Allen is useless on his bench.
Yep. And
He
he's
is,
another
he
guy,
is.
Mike,
That
you were
wasn't my
talking about
mixture.
your tight ends being like, they're not out, they're just questionable.
Uh-huh.
Every week, I have to, because he's out sitting on my bench, I can't do anything. I
Uh-huh.
can't drop him.
Yeah.
It's a 10-team league where I can't drop just like
A top
everybody
10
on my team's
potential
good.
running back. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't just drop somebody.
I hate to see it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna run with Palmer if Allen's not out again. I know he didn't have a big week last week, but obviously being the number one wide receiver is gonna be hit or miss.
Yeah.
Especially when he's really not a number one. He's probably on a good team. Should be a number two.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup just because the Chiefs score so much. So
Yeah, they're not the pass.
Yeah.
This should be-
Similar like Christian Kirk last week, you just the volume and the opportunities gonna be there.
This should be a huge week for Eckler. Expect like a 30-point game.
Like every week.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
basically.
been good, man. He's been real good.
Yeah, he's nasty. Healthy too. He's been healthy. Anyway. Finally, we're hitting the Monday night game. We have the 49ers versus the Cardinals. It's been interesting what we see the split of CMC and Mitchell. Mitchell finally had his first week back. I think a lot of people didn't predict him to have 16 carries on that game. It wasn't a close game, but you saw his carries. He's strictly basically a running back. He doesn't do much of the passing out of the backfield anyway. That's always going to be CMC. The CMC plays out of slot and everywhere else. And then you also have Debo. So your thoughts on Mitchell?
I'm weary this week. This game is in Mexico City, and everybody who's watched football before knows that there's a ton of injuries when they go down to Mexico City. If I'm a CMC owner, I want Mitch to get every carry this week. Like, go ahead, take one for the team, and just get every carry. Do what you got to do. Because if I'm CMC owner, the injury history with him is just, I don't want him touching that dry ass grass that they have down there. I want nothing to do with it. It was interesting though to see the 60-40 split. But CMC was being used in the passing game, like you said, was out wide, was in the slot. They're gonna find ways to use their players. So, it's it's something we didn't expect. You
Mhm.
don't trade for Christian McCaffrey and expect him to get like 40% of the carries. That's not what a
Not
normal team would do.
Not to mention, Shanahan said after the game that he expects them to be about the same. Like that's kind of concerning.
I believe him.
I don't
too.
know if that's cap.
No,
You believe
yeah,
it?
it
I
could
don't
be.
know if it's cap. Or
I
It
believe it.
could be
I
true.
believe it in carries wise. Snap percentage. CMC's going to be on the field 100%. Or, close to it.
But he was only on the field 60%.
No, I think that's split ratio. No, that's split ratio. That's not. It's not carry ratio.
Double check it real quick.
I have to look what the snap count was. It felt 50-50 though.
He was
be
on the
honest.
field
I'm looking
65% of the time. Christian McCaffrey last week.
Wait, I'm looking up Mitchell. 55.
Sure.
No, 65. So
65.
Mitchell just received more carries. Yeah, 65. Yeah. Mitchell just received more carries. That was the only difference.
He was on. Mitchell was 35%. So, but he saw
Right. So
he saw 18 carries. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think the snap percentage is always going to be CMC, but the way Shanahan plays, he wants all the weapons on the field at all times. So they're both going to be on the field.
Yeah.
I will say also, like Mitchell, like this was kind of crazy. Looked better. Running the football that is. Like,
He's got
he just looked
competition
better.
there now.
I mean, yeah, like that was what was most notable to me, that Mitchell was just doing a better job running football than McCaffrey. But we'll see. This was part of my worry going into this. Also, Debo completely irrelevant, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, he's garbage.
Could be.
He's gonna be hit or miss. I'm sure he's gonna have a 30-point game sometime, and he's gonna have 5-6 points another game. It's just
Jesus, this just broke.
Yeah, you just saw that, right?
You just saw that, DeAndre Hopkins. Oh my God!
What happened?
Listen, guys, I'm winning the championship.
He just hurt his hamstring in practice.
Hopkins?
Yeah.
Man, you guys should have.
I mean, he's not out or anything. It just says he hurt his hamstring. They don't have anything else on it.
Come on. Come out.
Speaking of the Cardinals, do you think Colt McCoy is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray?
No, I think system-wise and the fact that he studies. Yeah, Colt McCoy threw the ball with authority. He threw it on time. He knew he had to play. He studies the defense.
Authority.
No, but for real, Colt McCoy is a professional. He does everything he needs to. He'll probably end up being one of the top backup QBs to be paid.
Yeah, I mean, he gave the ball to the playmakers and they made plays.
Yeah,
that's all
and he
Kyler has to do.
If you see the difference between Colt McCoy and Murray holds the ball. They're both the same size, so I don't want to hear argument that Colt McCoy is seeing the field different.
There's no way that Colt McCoy is 5'3". There's no way.
But Colt McCoy, Colt McCoy can read the defense, and he gets the ball out in a very fast-paced time. He knows he doesn't have a great offensive line.
He looks calm and collected back there.
Exactly.
Where like Kyler Murray, this is his third year in the league now. Still looks like at any second he's afraid to take a sack. His feet are always, moving around. I don't like it. No composure.
He still looks like a toddler running away from his parents.
Well, he always will because, like I said, he's 5'3". He's tiny.
Right.
But I watched most of that game, and not one ball went off the helmet of somebody. There's not wasted plays. I felt like
fourth season for Kyler, by the way.
Fourth. Thank you.
Yeah. I do want to say I think the bigger takeaway for me from this game was James Conner. Obviously, we'd seen an extended absence from him. Like, he's been hurt. He wasn't particularly good. Like, he had 21 rushes for 69 yards, but the 2 touchdowns was what kind of caught my eye. Like, I wonder if we see a solid finish from James Conner to end the season. Benjamin got cut, which was very bizarre. I don't understand that one. So,
no money there.
I think he could be a buy low candidate.
Yeah, you got to do it today.
Well, most leagues, yeah. So I was going to say, like, those 2 touchdowns kind of just, like, they were like, all right, we don't need Benjamin anymore, I guess. I'm like, that was bold of you. That was a bold assumption of the Cardinals.
Cardinals have any shot to – what's the Cardinals' record? Do they have any shot to make the playoffs?
Pretty much everybody's got a shot to make the playoffs still in that division, I think.
unfortunate Seahawks took such a big lead on them, but they're gonna. Whoever wins this game is gonna be the shot to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
The fact that it's gonna be just Colt McCoy is the one that's starting. So right.
It's still
So,
undetermined, but it is a hamstring injury. So
Also, Hollywood Brown might be back this week.
noteworthy.
Noteworthy.
I don't see this
Hollywood should be
Hopkins
back.
news.
They just tweeted out that he did not practice today.
Ago.
Did not practice hamstring injury. Something to watch. That's what held him out.
You hate to see it, boys. You hate to see it. Not me though.
This is why I hate the end of the year,
chilling.
Mike. This is why I hate the end of the year.
Thank God I have Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that's what the Giants said.
And the fact that Hardman just went to the IR.
Yeah, that was this morning.
I love it.
Anything else, boys and girls?
That wraps it up.
All right. Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Mike's ugly. Joe Green is pale as can be. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe for all the above. We'll see you guys next week.
Smooches, love you.